A real family gift for the holidays. Welcome back to Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. Joining us from Ancestry is corporate genealogist Crista Cowan, also host of the YouTube channel, The Barefoot Genealogist. Hi, Crista.
Hi, Fred. Thanks for having me.
Great to see you once again. And this is the time of year when families are getting together, big gatherings, small gatherings, etc. And sometimes they talk about people who came before in the family members who maybe aren't with them any longer. Give us an overview of what people talk about when they gather for the holidays and how family trees can be a real fun thing.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I know in my family, when we get together, oftentimes we're serving the holiday dinner on the platter that, my mom inherited from grandma, or we're serving grandpa's persimmon cookies afterwards. So there's like already kind of built into that experience some reminiscence of people who've gone before. And so it's just kind of a natural time when you're together and when you're kind of immersed in that, those holiday traditions, if you will, that our thoughts and our conversations turn to our parents, our grandparents, our great grandparents, the stories of holidays past. It's a perfect time for that.
And it's a great time, I suppose, to get started, maybe even before the get together, in trying to put together a family tree.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things I encourage everyone to do is to go into your mobile device, whatever device you happen to be on, and download the Ancestry mobile app. It's free. And you can just start building a family tree, which step one is just start with what you know about yourself and your parents and your grandparents, and then maybe send out a text message or invite your tree or share your tree with your family and invite them to start adding what they know about their parents and their grandparents. Kind of make it an online family experience before you get together in person.
So you can share the tree with your cousins and other relatives and let them start adding their families, etc. as well, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And they can not just add names and dates and places, but they can start to maybe, grab their phone and take a picture of that picture on the wall of great grandma and great grandpa in front of their farmhouse, or take a picture of the, piano that Aunt Sally inherited, or take pictures of pictures of artifacts. You can upload those to the tree. It's a great way to start sparking some memories.
You make it kind of easy to do a lot of that. Tell me about that and the different plans that there are, because you can start for free, but then what do the memberships add?
Yeah, so building that family tree, sharing it with your family, uploading those photos, all of that is a free part of the service. But all of us kind of hit this edge of memory, this place where we don't know who great grandpa was. And so we have to dive into historical records to start to put those puzzle pieces together. And that's where the Ancestry subscription comes in. You can subscribe to the historical record collections on the site. You can do it month to month. You can buy a 6-month subscription at a time, and you can have access to the records for either just the US, if that's where your family has been for a while, or you can purchase a world subscription that gives you access to all 40 billion records from 80 countries around the world.
And it really helps you to grow the tree and dig way back.
Yeah, yeah. In some branches of my family tree, I can get back into the early 1600s. Some of my branches of my family tree stop in 1870.
And then there's the DNA aspect to all of this. So ancestry DNA, tell us about that and how that can become a part of this picture.
Yeah, so every single one of us inherited exactly 50% of our DNA from our dad and 50% of our DNA from our mom. So we carry in us a record of our ancestors because they inherited 50% of their DNA from their mom and dad, and so on back through time. So when you take a DNA test, it's a really easy way to start connecting those bits of DNA you inherited with a third cousin that you've never heard of before that shows up as a DNA match to you. And now all of a sudden you have an open conversation about your grandparents who were first cousins to each other. And maybe one of you inherited some photos and one of you inherited some stories. And that connection allows you to fully flesh out the family story of those common ancestors.
And really easy to do. Can you step us through how people do that?
Yeah, taking a DNA test is very simple. If you just go to ancestry.com, you can order a test there and it gets shipped to you in a box with a tube. It is a saliva sample. So you provide about a quarter teaspoon of saliva, preservation solution in the cap, shake it up, ship it off to the lab, activate it with the information on the instruction card. And then you just sit and wait. And that's the hardest part because it takes about 6 to 8 weeks to get your results back. And those results are delivered via an email notification that comes to you based on the email you use to activate that account.
Terrific. And then you start really learning to put this tree together. You give people the DNA hints, which is really terrific.
Yeah, you get those cousin matches. You'll start to get hints if you've attached your tree. And of course, there's other powerful parts of the DNA product experience as well. You'll get an ethnicity estimate that is showing you where in the world your DNA was 500 to 1,000 years ago. You'll be connected with genetic communities that shows where you have family members who lived within the last 200 years. And then we also have available more than 40 different traits which allow you to kind of compare with your family who remembers their dreams and who's a morning person and who's an extrovert. And that's what we did around the holiday table at Thanksgiving time in my family.
That's terrific. And there are some great discounts right now on gift memberships.
Yeah, one of the things you can do is you can actually buy a membership for someone else. So if you don't think you're currently, like if you want to start a tree and maybe invite your mom and she has maybe a little more time than you do, you can purchase a gift membership for her to then have access to those historical records. So you're both working off of the same family tree in your account, but that subscription then can be applied to her account so she has access to those records.
Right, and there's some pretty good discounts through the end of the year for those gifts as well, right?
Yeah, you just go to ancestry.com and the pricing is available there.
What is it that makes this such a popular, I don't know if you'd call it a hobby. I suppose it is, but why is it so popular, genealogy?
You know, I think back in the 1970s, Alex Haley wrote the popular book Roots, and then it became a TV miniseries. And there's a famous quote from him that I've always just found to be so very true. And what he said was, there is a hunger marrow deep in all of us to know who we are and where we come from. And I think family history fills that need very much. But even more importantly, what I've discovered in my 20 years here at Ancestry is that it connects us with our living family as well. It gives us something to talk to with our sister who maybe we don't have a lot of other things in common with other than our family. It gives us an opportunity to hear stories from our parents who sometimes are just waiting for us to ask about those stories. So it's really just a way to more deeply engage with our living family and to connect with them on another level.
Just terrific. And the site, you probably know it, ancestry.com. Crista Cowan, thank you so much for spending time with us and have a wonderful holiday.
Thank you, Fred.